This Leafs team needs to make changes, and they need to make them now. With how hard it is to make changes in the middle of a season and how difficult it is to pull off massive trades with big-name players, is it time for us to start preparing to see head coach Sheldon Keefe get the axe and be on his way out the door? Welcome back to Third Man In. I'm Zack Phillips, and in today's video, we're going to be exclusively talking about the job security of Sheldon Keefe here in Toronto. Now, I know that this Leafs team is only 10 games into the season. They're currently sitting with a record of 5-3-2, but frankly, that's not good enough. And if you actually watch their play on the ice every night, you watch the results and how they get to those results, you would be sitting here in agreement that this whole thing has not been good enough. Oftentimes, when you sit there and you look at a team and the way that they've performed throughout the beginning of the season, you can start to pinpoint a few different things and say, hey, maybe this needs to be adjusted, maybe that needs to be adjusted. But here's the problem. Coming into this season, everyone in the entire world had the similar thought about this Leafs team, and that was that something needs to change. You watch the same thing happen every single year with the same results and the same level of play, and they lose the same way and when it comes to the playoffs, and you sit there and you go, something has to change with this team. It's got to be one of the core. It's got to be a big piece. You have to add a defenseman. You got to get rid of the coach. And guess what happened going into this season in the offseason? None of that happened. In fact, they went out and they added a GM. They changed the GM. Not too much went on here to actually change the fabric of this team. The GM himself tried to make some moves around it without coming in and being a massive disruptor, not moving on from the core four plus Morgan Rielly or whatever, but he goes out and tries to make some other moves, adding in Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, John Klingberg, and it kind of felt like everyone could see the vision. You even add in Ryan Reaves and you say, we're adding snot, you're adding toughness. Through 10 games of this season, I have questions, and it's not about Brad Treliving and the job that he did in the summer. Now, obviously, I myself was a candidate of trade one of the core four or get rid of the coach. If you're not going to do one, then do the other, because something does need to change here. And the more that I watch this team this season, the more in depth I watch them, the more replays that I watch, the more I listen to other people talk, the more I start to think I was right and something needed to change in this offseason. So, with how hard it is to actually make in-season trades, I'm starting to sit here and think head coach Sheldon Keefe, his job is on the line. And let me tell you a little bit more about why I think that. Yes, 5-3-2. It's not like it's the end of the world and you're sitting here going, oh my God, this team stinks. It's a tire fire. Figure it all out, throw it all away. We'll start again next year. We're not in that stage, and I completely understand that. But the reality of the situation is this. This team right now plays the exact same way that they have year after year after year. And it's the exact same reason that they lose in the playoffs every single year. And that is they have no guts. They have no heart to them. They have no character, no balls at all. And I sat here and I thought this is all because of the core four. They don't have the heart. They don't have the guts. They don't have the balls. Maybe they don't to an extent. But I've seen a lot more out of Nylander. I've seen a lot more out of Matthews. I don't think you ever really see it out of Tavares, but I don't think he's a gutless player. I'm wondering if a lot of this is coming from the top and Sheldon Keefe and the way that he's just running everything. It seems to me that Sheldon Keefe allows nobody to play as themselves and be themselves. In the game the other night against the Boston Bruins, Brad Marchand goes into the corner with Timothy Liljegren, takes his feet out, he goes feet first into the boards, he's going to miss significant amount of time. Ryan Reaves is chirping from the bench. He's the only goddamn player on this team worth anything to be able to do anything to any player on Boston out there from an intimidation factor or a response factor, because no one else on the ice is jumping in after Marchand after that happens, when 31 other teams around the league would have an immediate response to that. You know what? In fact, take a look back to Max Domi last year playing for the Blackhawks when a player on his team gets hit. Patrick Kane gets hit, Max Domi jumps the guy, throwing cross checks, he's in there right away. Whether you agree with it or not, he had some life. Now all of a sudden he comes here to Toronto under his head coach Sheldon Keefe, and it seems like that's just gone. He doesn't have it anymore. He's not allowed. He's got a muzzle on him. Same with Bertuzzi, same with Reaves. This has to be coming from Sheldon Keefe. This has to be a top-down order from Sheldon Keefe implemented throughout this roster, because it makes no sense otherwise. How could you sit here and watch this team conduct themselves on a daily basis and sit here and watch the decisions this guy makes and think that this is just the players just being like this when they get to Toronto, or this is who they truly are? Tyler Bertuzzi, throughout the entire time he's been in the NHL, has played a certain way. He gets to Toronto and all of a sudden he doesn't play that way. Max Domi has played a certain way the entire time he's been in the NHL. Gets to Toronto, doesn't play that way. Ryan Reaves gets to Toronto, says, I'm going to fight, I'm going to hit, I'm going to do all this stuff. And then Sheldon Keefe says, no, the hell you're not. You're going to do that. You're going to sit your ass on the bench. I get that he doesn't have the greatest analytics. I understand that. But we sat here as Leafs fans for so long, year after year after year, and said, I wish this team would add this kind of player, add somebody who could fight, somebody who could stick up for people. Finally, he gets here, and he's not allowed to fight and stick up for people. We're basically paying him $1 million a year to take guys to team dinner. What the hell are we doing here? The other thing for me with Sheldon Keefe is that you sit here and you look at the deployment of guys like Domi and Bertuzzi once they get there. Yarncroke while he's here. Nye's in this lineup. And you sit and you hear all the post-game comments. Oh, he's not playing his role that we've set out for him. He's not playing the game plan that we built. Well, Sheldon, maybe your game plan is shit. Maybe your game plan is so piss poor that it's not allowing these guys to play to their full potential and actually get the best out of them. Maybe that this is a problem from Sheldon Keefe, and it's not the players, and it's not True Living, because watch what True Living had built in Calgary. That team was mean. They were tough. They were physical. He came here and he said, I want to do that in Toronto. I want to build it around this. Seems like this Leafs team doesn't really have that right now. They don't have that piss and vinegar that Brad Treliving wants, even though he went out and acquired the players he was looking for to bring that in. There's something wrong here, and to me, it's not the players and it's not Brad Treliving. It's the man behind the bench sending the immediate message and determining who gets to go out with who and when in game. I think Sheldon Keefe is a problem for this bench. You obviously can't move on from major pieces here, so at some point, a different voice should be implemented onto this bench to give a fresh look, a fresh perspective, and allow this team to have different opportunities, and maybe, just maybe, give the guys who were brought in here to do a certain job, give them the opportunity to actually do their job. I would like Tyler Bertuzzi, Max Domi, Ryan Reaves, John Klingberg to actually be able to play like the players that they're supposed to be. Not the players Sheldon Keefe wants them to be. Because at this point in their career, it's not about changing them to mold them to Toronto's style of play. Because guess what, Sheldon? Your style of play has got you fucking nothing so far throughout your time in the NHL. One playoff series win. Not good enough. So maybe it's time to reconsider how things are done here, the strategies involved, and how things are implemented. Because this right now is not cutting it, and I think Sheldon Keefe's job is on the line. If you guys enjoyed the content here today, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel as well, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single second of anything that goes on here on Third Man In. More live streams, videos just like this, breaking down everything happening around this Leafs team will be coming out. You won't want to miss any of that, so make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it all. Is Sheldon Keefe the problem? Are the players on the team the problem? Is True Living the problem? I want to know what your thoughts are. I look forward to reading it all. Thank you guys so much. And as always, keep believing.